All right, today we're going to be looking at multiplying fractions and dividing fractions. First thing I want to go over is some key vocabulary that I will be using in this video. The first is numerator. Numerator describes the top number in a fraction. The second is denominator. Denominator describes the bottom number in a fraction. After that, I want to talk about the word reciprocal. Reciprocal simply means to take a fraction and flip it upside down. Such as, if I have 5/6, the reciprocal would be 6/5. Another example, if I had 2/3, the reciprocal would be 3/2. Let's go ahead and erase this now. The standard that we're going to be working on is interpret and compute quotients of fractions. Basically, we're going to divide fractions and solve word problems involving the division of fractions by fractions. So let's first, in order to divide fractions, I have to be able to multiply fractions. So let's go ahead and look at how to do that. When multiplying fractions, first thing you want to do is reduce the fraction before you multiply. The reason you do this is so that you don't have to deal with larger numbers after the multiplication to reduce. It makes it a lot easier to reduce the fraction beforehand. And what's nice about it is you can reduce any of the numbers in the numerator by any of the numbers in the denominator. So let's look at how that would look. So I look at this and I know that 5 goes into 15 and 5 would also go into 35. So I'm going to divide 5 and 15 and 5, and I'm going to divide 35 and 5. So that's now going to give me a 15 divided by 5 is 3 in the numerator for this fraction. And then the other fraction, I'm going to have a 7 as the denominator because 35 divided by 5 is 7. Now let's look at 24 and 12. I know that 12 goes into 24 evenly, so I can divide 12 by 12 and 24 by 12. So 12 divided by 12 is 1. 24 divided by 12 is 2. Now, to multiply fractions, all you have to do is multiply straight across the fractions. Multiply the numerators times the numerators, and the denominators times the denominators. So 3 times 1, that is 3. 2 times 7, that is 14. And because we did the reducing inside of the multiplication problem before we multiplied, we ended up with a nice reduced answer at the end. You may not always be this efficient. You may have to do some further reducing at the end of the problem, at the answer. That's okay. But because you reduced before you did the full multiplication, that number will be easier to work with. So now that we've seen multiplying fractions, let's look at dividing fractions. Dividing fractions is simply multiplying by the reciprocal, that word that we went over in the very beginning. What is a reciprocal? Or what does multiplying by the reciprocal look like? So here's what we do. We take the first number, we keep it exactly the same. We take the division sign, change it to a multiplication sign, and then we take the second number and we flip it upside down. This process has been called keep, change, and then flip. Keep, change, flip, because we keep the first number, change division to multiplication, and flip the second number. Now we go back to our multiplication rules. The first step is to reduce before we multiply. So let's look at this. I see 4 and 12. 4 goes into 12 evenly, so I'm going to divide by 4 here. I'm going to divide by 4 here. Right? So now over here, I'm going to have 12 divided by 4. That is 3. And then on the other side, 4 divided by 4 is 1. All right? All right, my headset cut out for a second there. All right, so we have an improper fraction because we have 15 over 4. So what I'm going to do is divide these numbers. 15 divided by 4. 4 goes on the outside. 4 will go on the outside. 15 goes on the inside. 4 goes into 15 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. I subtract. That's going to be a 3. So my answer is going to be, this is my whole number right here, the 3. So I'm going to have 3 fraction bar. This is my numerator. The remainder is your numerator. And then your divisor is your denominator. So your answer is 3 3/4. All right, what I want you to do now is I want you to try these 6 problems that are on the board. Want you to pause the video, try these 6 problems, and then I want you to play the video and see if you got them correct, and I want you to correct your answers as we go along. So take this time now, pause the video. All right, so let's look at this question here. We have 1/4 times 2/3. The first thing I notice is 2 can go into 2 and 2 can go into 4. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce right there. So I'm going to have 1/2 times 1/3. That's just going to be 1/6. Final answer. That's it. Nice and easy. All right, this next one. 2 can go into 10. 10 can go in, and 2 can go into 2 as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. Oh, look at that. 7 can go into 7, and it can also go into 21. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 10 divided by 2, that is going to be 5. Times 2 divided by 2 is 1. 21 divided by 7 is 3. That's going to be 1 over 15. Nice and easy. All right, let's look at this next one. I noticed that 7 and 14, 7, 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7. All right. So, but also I noticed 3 and 21 also are divisible. So that's going to be 1/2 times 1/3, which is just going to be 1/6. All done. Please make sure you correct your answers if you got them wrong. All right, let's look at the next one. Division. We have 3/4 divided by 1/2, or keep, change, flip, 3/4 times 2 over 1 when we multiply it by the reciprocal. Here, I know that 2 goes into 2 as well as it going into 4. So my problem will become 3 over 2 times 1 over 1, which is just 3 over 2. Let's change this into a mixed number. 2 on the outside, 3 on the inside. 2 goes into 3 one time. 2 times 1 is 2. Subtract 1 left over. So my whole number is 1. My numerator is 1. And my denominator is 2. So 1 1/2. Let's look at the next one. We have 5/8 divided by 8/9, or 5/8 times, or 8 over 9. So we had 5/8 divided by 9/8. 8 can definitely go into 8, so that's an easy reduction right there. So that's going to be 5 over 1 times 1 over 9. So that's going to be a nice, easy, multiply straight across, 5 over 9. Simple. All right, this next one. 4/5 divided by, or times 12 over 3. I know that 3 can go into 12, and it can also go into 3. So I'm going to have 4/5 times 12 divided by 3 is 4. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So that's going to be 16 over 5. So 16 divided by 5. 5 is on the outside, 16 on the inside. 5 goes into 16 3 times. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract, and you have 1 left over. So the whole number is 3. Fraction bar. Your numerator is 1. Your denominator is 5. Please go back. Please go back, check your work if you found any mistakes, and I hope you did well.